On the 4th of January, the body of a young man was found stashed inside a metal box and abandoned in a ditch along a lonely road on the outskirts of Eldoret, Kenya. When he was found, his nose and his mouth had been sealed with cut-out pieces of jeans. Someone had taken time to tear up a pair of jeans trousers and proceeded to block his nostrils with the pieces, making him unable to breathe. Plus, a pair of socks was also stuffed into his mouth and shoved down his throat. The body, when it was found, was dressed in what was assumed at the time to be female clothing. It was wrapped in blanket and was partially decomposed. 2 days after this discovery, it emerged that the body was that of 25-year-old model and activist Edwin Chiloba. A postmortem will later reveal that the young designer and model had passed away due to asphyxiation. Welcome to my channel, guys. Thank you for staying with me. If you haven't subscribed yet, please take a pause and do so. I will really appreciate your support. Now, Edwin Chiloba was born Edwin Kipruto in Segoet, which is a small Catholic populated village in the heart of Kenya North, Elgeyo Marakwet County in Kenya. He later on adopted the name Chiloba after he was repeatedly told that he resembled the Kenyan Communication Authority boss Edwin Chiloba. Now, growing up, Edwin was said to be an ambitious young boy who grew up in the Catholic Church. He embraced the Christian faith and was considered a staunch Catholic adherent. The village even called him pastor, because of his association with the church and how he participated in all the church activities. People who knew him said that he liked to pray a lot. He even joined the YCS, which is an acronym for Young Christian Students, while he was a student at St. Francis High School, Kimura. Now, Edwin was sociable and he was known to relate well with everyone around him, and he loved fashion a lot. A friend of his has this to say about him, quote, "He would cut banana leaves and try to make clothes. He would fit the leaves on himself and ask his fellow kids if he looked good. It was something in him truly," end quote. Now, as an adult, Edwin Kipruto had become Edwin Chiloba, a popular model, a fashionista, and an LGBTQIA+ activist who connected with so many people on different levels. He had even acquired a new fun family, having met a foreign couple on social media whom he shared all his trials and his tribulations with, and had actually won their affection. The couple were Peter and Donna Graf, whom Edwin had actually met on Facebook, and they loved Edwin as if he was their own. Now, after his father's passing in 2015, Edwin, on the advice of his family, enrolled in Moi University's West Campus to study education in Kiswahili and CRE. But in his second year, Edwin told his family he was no longer interested in studying education in Kiswahili and CRE. In fact, he wanted to study fashion and design. So he dropped out of Moi University and enrolled at the University of Edinburgh to study fashion design. He wanted to do something that he loved, something that he was passionate about, not what his family wanted him to do. And this decision was not so good because it caused a rift between him and his family. They viewed him as a disappointment, as an outcast, for doing what he did to his family. You know how typical African families are. They always like to impose their opinions on others, whether you like it or not. So they disowned Edwin for refusing to study education. And this meant that in the twinkle of an eye, he was all by himself. He had lost everything, no money, no family. No one in his family wanted to talk to him. They were his sole sponsor, so he was at this point even homeless and very broke with no one to turn to. Not even the church showed up for Edwin at this particular point in time. It was at this time that Edwin also dropped his association with the church because he felt like the church neglected him. He felt like they didn't come through for him. He felt like they didn't show up for him and they didn't accept him for who he was, even though he has been a part of the church right from when he was a child. But thank goodness, help came his way. His story changed when he met his adopted family, the one I mentioned earlier. And with the help of this missionary couple, Peter and Donna, he began this new path in fashion and design, and also was able to get a roof over his head. Peter loved Edwin so much, he agreed to sponsor his education. He loved Edwin like a son, and Edwin loved him back. He even called him dad, He was very fond of Peter. Now, Edwin lived with a friend of his called Jacktone Odhiambo. Now, Jacktone actually goes by the name Liza amongst their friends and on social media. Everyone on social media knew him as Liza, you know. Liza is a freelance photographer who shuttled between Nairobi and Eldoret, and he was known to be very, very close to Edwin. They did almost everything together. Just imagine a fashion designer and a photographer as friends, you know. The combination was epic, you know. It was a perfect match. Now, what is not exactly clear to me, or maybe other people too, it's not exactly clear to them, is the fact that this Liza guy was a married man with an entire family in Nairobi. It just doesn't make any sense that he was rooming with his male friend in Eddoret when his wife and his kid were in Nairobi. It doesn't make any sense. But we'll get into more details about this. Now, let's fast forward to 4 days after the New Year's Day. This was the day that Edwin's decomposing body was found inside this metal box that was left by the side of the road, you know. So on this day he was found, some Boda riders noticed some suspicious people dropping off a metal box in a ditch by the roadside. And by the way, Boda riders are motorcyclists, you know, what we call Okada in Nigeria. Just in case you're confused, they are just motorcyclists, you know. Okay, as I was saying, these riders saw these people dropping off this mysterious metal box in broad daylight, and it really looked suspicious. So they alerted the police, who were stationed at a nearby checkpoint, and the police immediately showed up. You know, the Boda drivers didn't touch the metal box. They just waited for the police to arrive. So the police arrived and they proceeded to open the box. And to their shock, they saw the partially decomposing body of a woman, or so they thought, inside the box. The face was wrapped up, so they wouldn't have been able to immediately tell if it was actually a female or a male. The body had also been wrapped in a bedding, you know, in a blanket, or what other people call the duvet. So it was actually very difficult to tell if it was a male or a female. But following the gruesome discovery, the body was moved away, and soon enough news broke that the body that had been found was that of popular activist Edwin Chiloba. It's not clear if Edwin's family was even aware that he was missing, or was he even ever reported by his friends or his family. Most people saw him last while he was partying on New Year's Eve with Liza and other friends of theirs. In fact, the clothes that he was found in when he was abandoned in the iron box was the same clothes that he was seen wearing at the New Year's Eve's party that he attended. It was this black sheer beaded shirt he paired with red trousers. The shirt was sheer and it had tassels on it. I believe that was why they thought that it was a female, because it actually looked like a female clothing. Instantly, Kenyan social media was flooded with reactions as soon as the news broke that something had happened to Edwin. A lot of people at the time believed he was targeted for who he was. I mean, it's no news that there have been cases of homophobic attacks in Kenya, which had led to many people losing their lives. In fact, it's a crime in Kenya to be gay. I think it attracts a sentence of 14 years in jail, just like in Nigeria. This man was not in the closet. He was open and he was an activist. It's understandable that he might have been an easy target, you know, because of who he was and his lifestyle. So when this sad news broke, pictures and videos of Edwin began to circulate as he partied on New Year's Eve with his friend, and in the same clothes that he was seen in when his body was discovered. So this means that whatever had happened to him had happened not too long after the New Year Eve's party celebration, you know. The sad part of this for me was that people were recording, you know. They posted videos of him inside the box, and also of him laying on the floor after the police had taken him out of the box. You know, it's a sore sight to see for loved ones, you know. It's not a good thing to do. You know, you just see this kind of a thing that someone just comes online to do something on social media, and then you just see the video of your loved one in that kind of position. It's really heartbreaking. We should all learn to be cautious of the kind of things that we post on social media, especially when the news had not broken yet. Well, moving on, Edwin had been attacked before. Last year, he posted a picture of himself, or was it a video now? I think it was a video he posted. He was in cuts and bruises after a group of young men had attacked and beat him up because he was putting on female clothes. So when news broke about him being found in a metal box, most people assumed it was another homophobic attack. But as investigators began to look into Edwin's last movements and all the activities that he had gone through prior to him being found, a lot of layers began to peel off, and certain shocking information began to emerge, which led to the arrest of some people, some suspects, including Edwin's photographer best friend, Liza. The shocking thing is that Liza is now actually the prime suspect in the cruel murder of Edwin Chiloba, and he is being held by detectives in Eldoret as investigations into the case continues. When he was arrested, Liza told detectives he actually confessed that he killed Edwin because he was cheating on him. This clearly means that these two were actually in a relationship. They had an ongoing relationship, which was beyond the friendship that people thought that they had. The confusing part of all of this is that Liza is a whole family man, as I mentioned earlier. He has a wife and a child in Nairobi. See why a lot of people never linked them up together as if, they were romantically involved. They never suspected that the two might have been involved, romantically. On how he was found out, a neighbor of theirs had seen, Liza move the metal box out of the apartment that he shared with Edwin. And when the news broke that something had happened to Edwin, this neighbor also saw that particular box and it looked so familiar. So he had to tell the authorities that he might know something about what had happened to Edwin. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, please take a pause and subscribe to my channel, and also give this video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate if you do so. As I was saying, a neighbor of theirs had seen him move the metal box out of the apartment that he shared with Edwin. So when he saw on the news that something had actually happened to Edwin and he was found in this type of box that he had seen Liza moving, he contacted the authorities to let them know that he had seen that particular metal box in which Edwin was found in being moved by Liza with the help of two other individuals. They were actually loading this metal box into a particular vehicle. Edwin would have never in a million years imagined that Liza would do this to him. He would have never imagined that he would do him dirty like this. On December the 29th, 2022, he actually shared a short video on his Instagram account giving a recap of how the year had been for him and the plans that he had for 2023. Liza was the one filming and asking all the questions.
Edwin?
Missing.
How was your 2022?
My 22 has been amazing, nice, achieved a lot, and we thank God.
Did you achieve some of the 2022's resolution?
Yeah, I did achieve a lot. Some I didn't, but hopefully 2023 will be wow.
Well, we saw a lot of things this year from you, especially on Instagram, your projects. What are some of the major projects that you're proud of throughout the year?
First of all, I'm so proud of my school project that I did. It was so amazing when I was amongst the top. And also my work being published in a magazine,
wow,
which gave me a platform, and also being in articles.
Wow, that is something major, right? Yeah. How are you so far?
I'm good.
You're good, you sure? Okay. Well, it's been a very tough year, the elections and all that, but well, let us know, what are the most influential people or people who you met, close friends, who have actually changed things that you used to do and see them in a different way?
Oh, first of all, I have met a lot of people this year. They spread love, like when you are in space, they just love your energy. And the people that I've met are like Michelle Talami, she's my best friend, phenomenal,
wow.
Nick, and like they have taught me in a way that to see life in a different way, perspective, and also the way I do my things.
What about me?
Yeah, you too.
What have I changed?
Yeah, you've changed me. Like I've learned a lot from you, your heart, and it has really inspired me to keep doing me.
Wow. Okay, enough about us. What are some of the things that you had planned throughout the year and they didn't go as you wanted, but you have learned something out of them? Some of the failures of things that you wanted to do. What are the lessons that you've learned?
Okay, I've learned a lot from the failures, and it has taught me that never give up in what you're doing, and also to accept the mistake that you've done and just move on with life. You know, yeah, it has really inspires me. It has fueled me acceptance and just move on with life.
Wow, that is some real good advice, straight from the heart, people. It's about 2 days to 2023. What are some of the major things that you'd love to happen to you in the year to come?
Okay, I have a lot. I have a big dream to see my works being showcased maybe in New York, and also to be that big fashion icon. You know, I have a lot of things that I really want to achieve to build my brand, and also to inspire people to be just the best version of themselves. Like, I really love to see people just doing themselves and doing what they love, spreading love, and just being themselves. That's my really happiness. Yeah.
Okay, what is a lot of people are trying to get into the fashion industry and all that, modeling too. We realize you're doing both of them. So what advice would you give to any of the upcoming or people who are looking into doing such stuff in the industry coming next year? What are the...
We see you're doing an amazing job. I really want to be a model. I really want to be a fashion designer. What can I do? My advice to them is just keep doing them. Like, don't copy, don't compete with anyone. Just be that authentic self. When nothing like being authentic. Whatever you feel inside you, do that thing. No, never care about what other people will say, their opinions, because no matter what you do in this world, people gonna talk. So just keep doing you and be yourself.
Well, Happy New Year to you, Edwin.
Happy New Year.
See how innocent that clip was? It was Liza filming him and giggling with him, and now he is in police custody, confessing to have taken Edwin's life in this very cruel and inhumane way, and had even gone ahead to stuff his body in a metal box, dumping him by the side of the road as if he was trash. This Liza guy was actually trying to cover his tracks, you know. I guess he wasn't smart enough. He forgot there is no perfect crime and it would just be a matter of time and he will be caught. Edwin's apartment building caretaker did say that on the 4th of January, Liza had actually called him with Edwin's phone to say that they were moving out of the apartment that they shared together. It was kind of sudden and suspicious, you know, but at the time, no one knew that Edwin was already deceased. I believe Liza wanted to move out and disappear into thin air, and everyone would think that Edwin had also moved out along with him and disappeared too, and no one would suspect anything. But dumping the body by the roadside inside a metal box in broad daylight, that was a very dumb move that he made. Well, the caretaker did go to the apartment to check it out, you know, before they moved out of the apartment. But after getting that call from Liza, he discovered, you know, this offensive smell that was emanating from the room. Liza explained it away. He said that a rat had actually in the vent and that he had gotten rid of it, but the smell was still lingering. But this was, in fact, Edwin's decomposing body that was smelling so badly. I actually do think that this might have been the reason that he decided to move the body from the house inside that metal box to go dump it somewhere, because he actually almost got caught by the caretaker. Now, what was done to Edwin affected a lot of people. No matter who or what he was, he had people who loved him, he had people who adored him, he had people who cared for him, like Peter and Donna. Edwin's adopted father, Peter, was very heartbroken. Following what happened to him, he was so hurt. What hurt him the more was the fact that Liza, someone they knew to be very, very close to Edwin, his friend and roommate, is being held as a suspect for what had happened to their son. The couple mourned their son's mother through a Facebook post. They said, quote, "Our hearts are broken. We'll give more details when we can share more. Please pray for us," end quote. What happened to Edwin was really shocking. Neighbors around where he resided said that he didn't deserve this. He was jovial, yet a reserved person who loved his dog and had this unique sense of fashion that made him to stand out wherever he went to. He didn't deserve what happened to him at all. In fact, no one deserves to be asphyxiated or smothered in such a manner with pieces of clothing shoved down their throats as Liza did to Edwin. No one. It was a very painful and torturous way to take out a human being. It takes someone who is criminally minded to think of something like this to do to another human being. Now, while Liza is said to have confessed to the investigating team that he actually killed Edwin Chiloba for cheating on him, their friends believe that there is more than just this cheating story. Some people, as a matter of fact, do not even believe that they were romantically involved. They actually think that there is more to it, like maybe a business deal gone bad, or maybe they fought over money. Because how does it go from partying together at New Year's Eve to being stuffed inside an iron box just hours later? Everybody is actually waiting to see what further investigations will yield concerning this case. Their neighbors have come forward to say that the two roommates or friends or lovers or whatever you choose to call them at this point, fought a lot. That was what their neighbors said, that they were always fighting. It wasn't uncommon to hear them argue and scream on top of their voices. And on the day that this sad incident occurred, a neighbor did say that they heard screams coming from Edwin's apartment, and then all of a sudden it just went silent. It just went very quiet. It makes one to wonder if this was premeditated or it was something that happened at the spur of the moment because of anger. It's very difficult to understand. Looking back at the video of them partying together at the New Year's event, if Liza had the intentions of doing this to Edwin at that particular time while they were partying, then he's a breed of human that should never be let out of jail, because he is indeed very dangerous. Considering asphyxiation is the COD, I believe Edwin was alive when he was locked up in that metal box after he had been restrained. I might be wrong, but that is what I think, considering the way the autopsy said that he had passed away. Let me also add here that the blanket in which Edwin's body was wrapped in was actually his very own blanket, the same one that we see on his social media whenever he was doing a video inside his apartment. Now, if Liza truly did this because Edwin was cheating, it doesn't make any sense, because he was a whole married man who was cheating on his woman with another man. He wasn't innocent either, but it's still being rumored that the lady in question was very aware of the relationship between Liza and Edwin, because they say that it was an arrangement and she agreed to it. I can't say if this is true or if this is just rumor or mere speculations, that she was privy to this type of arrangement, because, I don't understand, but well, you never know. Pending further investigations, Edwin was laid to rest in his village, Eldoret village in western Kenya. He was given a befitting burial, no discriminations at all. At least people now know that this was not a homophobic attack as it was first speculated. It's actually a crime of passion, but Kenyans are still in shock with this case, and the hopes are that Edwin will get the justice that he so much deserved for what was done to him. Even though they still do not approve of who he was or his lifestyle, they believe that he deserved justice. So guys, that's pretty much all about Edwin's case for now. Please take out time to watch my other videos, and also subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up if you haven't. And stay safe at all times. It's a wicked world right now. Please make sure that you are okay and your loved ones are good. And until next video, stay safe.